What's up, guys? It's your boy Justin here with another graphic novel review. Today we're reviewing one of the old school DC showcases. DC Showcase presents Adam Strange, which this collects Silver Age comics from 1958 through 1963. This collects stories from Showcase 17 through 19, Mystery in Space 53 through 84. And this is written by Gardner Fox with art by Gil Kane, Carmine Infantino, Mike Sekowsky, Murphy Anderson, Gil Kane, Joe Giella, Frank Giacoia and Barnard Sachs. Which this goes for, back in the day, went for 17 US, 21 Canadian. I got this for 20 bucks at it wasn't a flea market, but it was like I don't want to say what it is, but you know, it's kind of like a marketplace. So yeah, this collects, like I said, all the early Adam Strange stories. And it was pretty interesting. Though there was some obvious growing pains. He didn't have his costume in like the first story. And yeah, it's the thing where I didn't know much about the Adam Strange character. I think I first encountered him in the 52 like, what was it? The 52 series, which was like special DC comic book series that was an anthology comic book series where it would like follow different characters, and it was supposed to lead up to the Final Crisis event, which I picked up volume 1 of that recently at a bargain bin at my local comic book store. So yeah, what this comic book series is about, which yeah, this is in black and white, by the way. You gotta love black and white art, by the way. Black and white comic books, even though the whole reason why we like old comic books is because of how colorful, bright and colorful they are. Yeah, but this is very much pulp science fiction. It's about a young archaeologist called Adam Strange, who's American, not Canadian like he was in his New 52 counterpart, who gets hit by this teleportation beam called the Zeta beam, and gets teleported 25 trillion miles from Earth to the planet Ron in Ranagar City, not Fenagar, where he meets the scientists. Started off in his beautiful daughter Elena, where he falls in love with Elena, and while all this is going on, Renegar gets invaded by aliens called the Eternals, and archaeologist Adam Strange helps to defeat the aliens. So that's pretty much like the story for every issue of Adam Strange, because the Zeta beam periodically shows up in a different spot on Earth, and Adam Strange goes to meet it so he can go visit Ron, so he can hang out with his beloved girlfriend, alien girlfriend. Well, they're not aliens, but well, you know, it's debatable because they look human. So he can hang out with his girlfriend Elena, and every time he goes on Ron, pretty much there's a threat to the planet, and Adam Strange has to solve it, basically. And what was cool about some of the threats, that some of the threats are like they weren't like evil aliens. They were basically like some of them were monsters, but some of them were like, oh yeah, it was like existential threats. They kind of had like no choice but to invade the planet because you know, they were undergoing problems, and you know, they had you know, they were basically forced to invade the planet. Did I read this one? That's a really cool cover. I'm pretty sure I read all these, which this took me like I don't remember this story though. Did I accidentally skip it? Oh, I remember this story. Yeah, there's also some plot inconsistencies. There's some stories where where they say like, oh, the Zeta beam can't take like humans, living things, but then like isn't Adam Strange a living thing? And then there's also the thing where like, oh yeah, he took like that one monster showed up, but they say that so like, oh, he can't just have his girlfriend show up on the planet with him. Oh my god. Yeah, so there were some plot inconsistencies with that, but what I really liked about this story, but this series overall, is that it's not like your typical superhero story, which there is a crossover with the Justice League, but Superman's not in it. And they mention like how like, oh yeah, Adam Strange is such a hero that, you know, he was offered membership to the Justice League, which we never get told why he turned it down, or if he even did turn it down. I don't know. So it's like, oh, it's like they're trying to raise up the character by saying, oh yeah, the Justice League wanted it. But yeah, what's cool about Adam Strange is that he's basically like a normal guy that like outthinks his enemies, right? Which was pretty cool. Which there are some recurring villains here, but the most recurring villain is this monster called the Dust Devil, which is like this like intelligent like gust of wind that can like, you know, kill people just by touching it. And then there's another unique thing about this series is that his sidekick is like his girlfriend, which is like how many superhero characters have their girlfriend as their sidekick. And there are some cool science fiction stories here, but yeah, there's some like some of the science is a little BS, but you know, it is what it is. You know, it's the 1950s and 60s. You know, these guys weren't getting paid a lot of money to do these comics. And what research? And this is like the crossover event. The crossover is like halfway through the comic book. This is like 510 pages. Most of these are like 520, so I don't know why this one was 510. But yeah, I did like it, but my main problem with this collection is one, it's black and white. But all of them were back in the day. I don't know, these I think were reprinted as like the Silver Age collections, but I don't know if they made a Silver Age collection of Adam Strange. And based off what I read of it, I don't even know if I would recommend it if there was a Silver Age collection. Because this wasn't, despite the fact that I think this was written by the guy who did the Green Lantern series, this is not as good as Green Lantern. Though I did like the character. I did like his, like, you know, his thing is like he's a scientist. So his whole thing is like he has to outthink his enemies, which was pretty cool. And then he gets the whole, like, you know, the city of Ranagar to like help him, which is it's not like, even though he does protect the planet, it's not just like he doesn't have the whole planet backing him. It's just Ranagar City, because apparently Ron has advanced technology, but they're like in like a post-apocalypse kind of, where like they were this super scientific civilization, but then like a nuclear war broke out, and they're basically back to like like every city is like its own city state. So in some ways they're like less advanced than Earth. All their advanced technologies from like the previous civilization, which like that they kind of like do. That's how they kind of explain how like they're not like how like Adam Strange is able to, like, you know, basically is smarter than the people from this so-called like advanced planet, because they have advanced technology, but they didn't invent it themselves. It's like, you know, it's like leftovers from the previous civilization. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, the stories here are very repetitive, and there are very much it's very much like because the stories are kind of short, there are abrupt endings for a lot of them that just feel like where they kind of, it's like feels like, oh yeah, it's like kind of, you watch like old super, like, you know, tokusatsu shows, or like Super Sentai shows, where it's like, oh yeah, like we're running close to the, you know, we're running out of our running time. Let's have our quick, you know, giant robot fight it, and end the show already. That's pretty much how like every issue almost felt. Though there were some ongoing issues that were like, you know, 3-parters, 2-parters, which I thought were cool. But yeah, other than that, it is super repetitive, and yeah, it very much like feels like, you know, it's like, if you're not a fan of pulp science fiction, like if you're someone who's like really into science fiction, like really into science stuff, some of the shit here is like will blow your mind. Like I think he survived like a fall from from like a airplane or a spaceship, and he was able to survive by just like landing into water. It's like, no, dude, like you would have broke every bone in your body. It's like, shit like that, right? Oh my god. But yeah, I did enjoy this book, right? But yeah, it's like a lot of people are probably not gonna like it because of how repetitive it is. So I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. Yeah, so that's it for this review, guys. Our next graphic novel review is going to be Marvel Man Family Finest, which hopefully this won't take as long to read as the Adam Strange graphic novel, which took me like over 2 weeks, because even though I did enjoy Adam Strange because of how episodic and repetitive it was, I could only read like a couple stories at a time. This is like only 200 and something pages. And the reason why I want to review this is because I picked up the Alan Moore Marvel. Well, it's called Miracle Man, but obviously Miracle Man was like the 80s edgy reboot of Marvel Man, because they couldn't call it Marvel Man anymore. So obviously, before I read the edgy reboot, I kind of want to see what the character was like before that by the original author. Even though this doesn't have the original like Marvel Man comics, I would have to pay like $20 for that, and I don't know if I want to, you know, because like I'm not huge into Silver Age, so I'm going to read this, and if I like it, then I'll pick up the Marvel Man Classic, which is this collects Marvel Man Family Finest issues 1 through 6. All right, guys, that's it for this review, guys. Peace out.